Hello and welcome back to this new edition of News Today. Without delay, let's explore the headlines first. United Nations chief urges leaders of regional bloc to resolve conflicts. Union government notified draft rules to operationalize digital Bharat Nidhi. Minister of Cooperation urges establishment of PACS in every village. 11 new biosphere reserves added to world network of biosphere reserves. China has made world's first high-temperature superconductor Tokamak device HH70. India participates in 86th session of the Executive Committee of the Codex Alimentarius Commission. In our first news, at the 24th summit of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, the United Nations chief made a powerful appeal to regional bloc leaders to end conflicts. The SCO, being the world's largest regional security body, has a significant role and responsibility in promoting peace in regions like Afghanistan. Transitioning from the need for peace, the UN chief also emphasized that deep global divisions and conflicts must be resolved to tackle two of the world's existential threats: climate change and the unchecked rise of digital technologies, especially artificial intelligence. These challenges are too vast for any one country to address alone, making regional multilateralism essential. Let's explore how regional blocs or organizations contribute to resolving crises. Their role is often facilitated by factors such as geographical proximity and cultural affinity. Major regional blocs include the European Union, the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, and the South Asian Association for Regional Cooperation. Moving on, let's look at their role in conflict resolution and addressing existential threats. First is preventive diplomacy. This aims to prevent existing disputes from escalating into conflicts. For instance, the Conflict Prevention Center of the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe is actively involved in such efforts. Next is mediation and negotiation. ASEAN has successfully mediated conflicts between member states, such as the Thai-Cambodian border dispute in 2011. Third is post-conflict reconstruction. Regional blocs like the European Union play a crucial role in rebuilding post-conflict societies, exemplify their efforts in the Western Balkans. In addressing existential threats, the European Union has taken significant steps by enacting the Net Zero Industry Act and the European Union Artificial Intelligence Act. However, these regional blocs face several challenges in fulfilling their mandates. Insufficient funding often hampers their efforts. Internal rivalries within organizations like SAARC prevent unified action and effective conflict management. Additionally, a lack of effective cooperation from member states, as seen with ASEAN's struggle in managing conflicts in Myanmar due to the lack of commitment from Myanmar generals, poses a significant obstacle. In conclusion, the call from the UN chief at the SCO summit serves as a crucial reminder of the power and responsibility regional blocs hold in fostering peace and addressing global challenges.
In our next news, the Union government has taken a significant step towards enhancing India's digital infrastructure by notifying the draft Telecommunications Digital Bharat Nidhi Rules 2024. These rules, issued by the Department of Telecommunication, aim to operationalize the Digital Bharat Nidhi or DBN under the Telecommunications Act 2023. So what exactly is DBN? The DBN is set to replace the Universal Service Obligation Fund or USOF, which was established under the Indian Telegraph Act of 1885. USOF is a pool of funds generated by a universal access levy through the license fee charged on licensee of DOT at the rate 5% of the adjusted gross revenue. One of the key features of the DBN is its non-lapsable nature, meaning that any unused funds at the end of a financial year will carry over to the next. It aims to promote access to and delivery of telecommunication services in underserved rural, remote, and urban areas. Additionally, it will support research and development in telecommunication services and technologies. Moving on, here are the key highlights of the draft rules. The draft rules outline two primary methods for allocating funds under the DBN. The first is through a bidding process, which will be used to promote and support established telecommunication services in underserved areas. The second is through nomination, which will be employed to support research and development of new or emerging telecommunication technologies, products, and services. An important aspect of the DBN rules is the emphasis on sharing. Any telecommunication network established under the DBN must be shared and made available on an open and non-discriminatory basis. In conclusion, by replacing the older Universal Service Obligation Fund with a more flexible and forward-looking mechanism, the government aims to accelerate the development of India's digital infrastructure and bridge the divide.
Ahead in the news, we observe the 102nd International Day of Cooperatives, a significant event marked annually on the first Saturday of July since 1923 by the International Cooperative Alliance. This day underscores the vital role cooperatives play in fostering economic development and social cohesion. In a recent address, the Union Minister of Home Affairs and Cooperation urged stakeholders to support the establishment of primary agricultural credit societies in every village and block across the country. This call to action aligns perfectly with the cooperative spirit we celebrate today. Let's delve into what PACS are and why they matter. PACS or Primary Agricultural Credit Societies are the grassroots arms of the short-term cooperative credit structure in India. They serve as the final link between ultimate borrowers such as rural and agricultural communities and higher financing agencies including scheduled commercial banks and RBI or NABARD. PACS directly interact with rural borrowers, handling not only credit but also distribution and marketing functions. Currently, there are about 65,000 functional PACS in the country. The government aims for every panchayat to have its own PACS by 2029. Now, why are PACS so significant? They are the first building blocks of India's cooperative banking system, bringing farmer communities closer to credit, inputs, markets, and value addition. PACS also have the potential to play a major role by integrating their warehouses with the physical and financial supply chains of agro-commodities in Grameen agriculture markets or large private sector warehouses. India has taken several initiatives to promote cooperatives. The Constitution 97th Amendment Act 2011 granted constitutional status to cooperative societies, recognizing their importance. In 2021, the Union Ministry of Cooperation was created to realize the vision of Sahkar se Samriddhi or cooperation to prosperity. More recently, the Multi-State Cooperative Societies Amendment Act 2023 was introduced to strengthen governance, enhance transparency, increase accountability, and reform the electoral process in multi-state cooperative societies. In conclusion, the establishment of PACS in every village and block is a step towards empowering rural communities, enhancing agricultural productivity, and fostering economic growth. In our next news, let's dive into some exciting news from the world of environmental conservation. 11 new biosphere reserves have been added to the World Network of Biosphere Reserves or WNBR under the auspices of UNESCO's Man and Biosphere or MAB program. This is a significant milestone as WNBR now includes a total of 759 sites across 136 countries. Interestingly, for the first time, 2 transboundary biosphere reserves have been included. These are Kempenbroek in Belgium and the Netherlands, and Julian Alps spanning Italy and Slovenia. Now let's talk about the MAB program. Launched in 1971, this intergovernmental scientific program aims to establish a scientific basis for enhancing the relationship between people and their environments. By combining natural and social sciences, the program seeks to improve human livelihoods while safeguarding both natural and managed ecosystems. It also promotes economic development that is socially and culturally appropriate and environmentally sustainable. India is home to 18 such reserves, with 12 recognized under the WNBR. The Nilgiri Biosphere Reserve was the first to be recognized, setting a precedent for others to follow. So what exactly are biosphere reserves? These are areas that represent diverse natural and cultural landscapes across terrestrial, coastal and marine ecosystems. They are divided into 3 main zones. First are core areas. These comprise strictly protected zones. Next are buffer zones. These are used for activities that are compatible with sound ecological practices and can reinforce scientific research. Third are transition areas. These are where communities foster socio-culturally and ecologically sustainable activities. In conclusion, the addition of these new biosphere reserves to the World Network is a significant step forward in global conservation efforts.
Ahead in the news, in a prominent development, China has announced the creation of the world's first high-temperature superconducting Tokamak device, dubbed H870. Tokamak is a machine for controlled thermonuclear fusion with a toroidal shape similar to a donut. Previously, the European Union and Japan inaugurated the JT60SA in Japan, recognized as the world's largest and most advanced Tokamak fusion reactor. These partners have also pledged their support to advance fusion research for the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor or ITER. For those unfamiliar, nuclear fusion, the process powering the sun and stars, involves combining light atomic nuclei to form heavier ones, releasing enormous amounts of energy in the process. Unlike nuclear fission, which splits atoms, fusion has the potential to provide a nearly limitless, clean energy source with minimal radioactive waste. Most fusion reactors use a mixture of deuterium and tritium. These are hydrogen atom isotopes that contain extra neutrons. Now, let's learn about the partnership setting up the foundation for progress. The International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor or ITER. ITER is a global scientific partnership between China, Europe, Japan, India, the Republic of Korea, Russia, and the US. It aims to prove the viability of fusion as an energy source. Currently, under construction in France, ITER will be the largest tokamak device ever built to test magnetic confinement to produce fusion energy. ITER has been designed for high fusion power gain with about 10-fold return, that is, ratio of heating input power to thermal output power. Current record for fusion power gain in a tokamak is Q is equals to 0.67 by European JET facility in the UK. India, a key player in the ITER project since 2005, contributes significantly through ITER India, a specialized project under the Institute of Plasma Research. The institute is an aided organization under Department of Atomic Energy, Government of India. ITER India is responsible for delivery of ITER packages such as cryostat, in-wall shielding, cooling water system, cryogenic system, ion cyclotron RF heating system, etc. In conclusion, as these fusion milestones accumulate, we edge closer to a potential energy revolution that could reshape our world. Ahead in the news, India participates in 86th session of the Executive Committee of the Codex Alimentarius Commission. Food Safety and Standards Authority represented India as a member elected on a geographic basis in the CCEX-EC session held in Rome. Let's look at the key highlights of the session. In the session, India proposed Codex guidance on recycled materials in food packaging. We also shared guidelines developed by FSSAI on recycling polyethylene terephthalate containers, bottles, etc. It's worth noting that India advocated for standards development in spices like cardamom, turmeric, and vanilla, which would facilitate smoother international trade. India also supported standards for vegetable oils, guidelines for the control of Shiga toxin producing Escherichia coli, etc. Furthermore, Codex Alimentarius Commission is an international food standards body established jointly by Food and Agriculture Organization and WHO in 1963. Headquartered in Rome, its objective is protecting consumers' health and ensuring fair practices in food trade. It develops food standards called Codex Alimentarius, which is a collection of international standards, guidelines, and codes of practice to protect the health of consumers and ensure fair practices in the food trade. These standards are voluntary in nature. Additionally, WTO agreements on sanitary and phytosanitary measures encourages members to harmonize national regulations with CA. It has 188 member countries and one member organization, that is the European Union. Wrapping up, take a quick look at the related development about FSSAI's proposed new labeling pattern. FSSAI proposed that nutritional information regarding total sugar, salt, and saturated fat in bold letters should be there, and relatively increased font size on labels of packaged food items. The Food Safety and Standards Labeling and Display Regulations 2020 specifies requirements to mention serving size and nutritional information on the food product label. It will empower consumers to make healthier choices and also to help combat the rise of non-communicable diseases, etc.
As we conclude today's main news, let's have a look at some quick updates. The Union government has restructured reporting relationships within the National Security Council Secretariat. National Security Council is a three-tiered organization created in 1998 that oversees political, economic, energy, and security issues of strategic concern. It operates within the Executive Office of the Prime Minister of India. UN warns of escalating tensions on Lebanon-Israel Blue Line frontier. Israel and Lebanon have no official border separating them except the Blue Line. It was set up by the United Nations in 2000. Blue Line is also a learning ecosystem created by the UN System Staff College. A recent survey revealed a devastating decline in population of endangered marine mammal, the vaquita. Vaquita is the smallest and now most endangered species of Cetacean order. Its IUCN conservation status is critically endangered. As per satellite images, it has been claimed that China is digging close to the Pangong Tso in eastern Ladakh to build some structure. Pangong Tso is located at 4,350 meter altitude and is endorheic or landlocked. It is world's highest saltwater lake. 1/3 of the lake lies in India and the other 2/3 in China. India participated in the 33rd PMNCH board meeting at Geneva. Partnership for Maternal, Newborn and Child Health was established in 2005. It is the world's largest alliance for women's, children's and adolescents' health and well-being. NABARD will launch an integrated tribal development program in the Kulatpura Gram Panchayat in Kerala. Integrated Tribal Development Program is a flagship project of NABARD that has been implemented since 2005-6. DRDO unveils prototype of the country's indigenous light Zorawar tank. Zorawar tank was jointly developed by the DRDO and private sector firm L&T. It is named after the legendary General Zorawar Singh, who led multiple successful victories in Tibet. A recent paper published by researchers at the University of California emphasized on the role of transposons in gene editing. Transposons or jumping genes are DNA sequences that can change their position within a genome. The Ministry of Culture initiates Project PARI for the 46th World Heritage Committee meeting. First intervention under project is taking place in Delhi. This project is being executed by Lalit Kala Academy and National Gallery of Modern Art. Scientists have identified bone remains found in a Tibetan Baishya caste cave as belonging to a Denisovan individual. Denisovans is an extinct species of hominid and a close relative to modern humans. Before we wrap up today's bulletin, it's time to put your knowledge to test in today's segment of Test Your Learning. Thank you for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this edition of News Today. For the solutions to today's quiz and to access the PDF version of News Today, remember to visit the provided links in the description below.